Stay tuned for my top 10 tips for babysitting. Hey sitters, welcome back to another video. It's Lydia, thanks for joining me. And in today's video, we are going to go through the top 10 tips I have for babysitter. This is not going to be in any particular order. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any awesome tips and tricks down the road. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know down in the comment section below. I want to get right into this, so let's jump in. Tip number 1 is to gather all the information that you possibly could on the families that you babysit for. I did 2 separate videos about this, one being long-term information such as meds and allergies, and short-term information such as what you need for that particular night, like bedtime routine and stuff like that. But when you're gathering information, the most important thing that you gather from these families is their emergency contact. Moving on to tip number 2 is writing the address, physically writing the address down somewhere. This is in case of an emergency. If you have to call 911, you can literally read the address off and you don't have to memorize it. You don't have to scramble through your phone to figure out what the address is. And also, if you're nervous to call the pizza guy like I am, you don't stumble over the address as well. So writing that address down and making sure that you can see it very easy and get to it if you need to. Tip number 3 is a confirmation text. So what I like to do is I like to send a text out to my clients before I babysit for them. And it's usually like 12 to 24 hours in advance of the job that I send a text saying, hey, I'm just checking in to see if you need me or still want me for tomorrow night at this time. And then if they come back with, yes, I still need you, I say, great, let me know if anything changes between now and then, and I will see you tomorrow. And if they say no, I say, no worries, don't worry about it, we'll get you back on the calendar sometime soon. But that helps cut down on, oh, I forgot you were coming, or oh, there was something that popped up. It cuts down on the very last minute cancellations, and it helps to where I can babysit for another family if I want to. So I can fill that slot that if somebody cancels on me, I can have another gig basically. Tip number 4 is to plan ahead, and this is such a big one. This is literally what my channel is all about, is planning ahead to be the best babysitter you can. Planning ahead cuts down on arguments, it cuts down on boredom, which can lead to arguments. When you got activities planned and they're excited for you to be there and excited to see what you have planned for them, things go a lot smoother and time flies when you're having fun. So I always preach planning ahead when you are going to a babysitting job. Tip number 5 is to arrive on time. Punctuality is key. It is so important that you are respecting the family's time and you are there when they ask you to be there, because you don't really know what they're going through or what they're planning on doing, if they're meeting friends. So if you're 5-10 minutes late, they're 5 and 10 minutes late. And to be honest, I know a lot of businesses and restaurants around here, if you are late to your reservation, you get booted and they give your table away. So that's not really fair to the families, because it is our fault we were late and it's our fault that they're late. So punctuality is key. Tip number 6 is to bring your babysitting bag, or create a babysitting bag if you don't have one. It is such a cool tool to connect with children, to help with separation anxiety, to help with those activities that you had planned earlier. I love and also preach that you bring a babysitting bag of some sort. It doesn't have to be a whole big bag with a bunch of activities, bunch of things, but something small or a couple items just to get their interest in what you're doing and what you have, and for you to actually be there. Tip number 7 is to give an update on how the night went. I do this whether the parents ask or not. I like to make sure that they understand and know what exactly happened that night, the good, the bad, and the ugly, just so that they're not surprised when their kid comes out and says, yeah, so-and-so hit me last night, or yeah, I didn't eat all my dinner, or no, we didn't end up taking a bath. Giving them my version or my side of the story, or actually how the night went before the kid starts to try and twist what actually happened. And then some kids are not even old enough to tell mom and dad how the night went or what they did. So if I have a 9-month-old, then I guess just go through it I give an update on how much they drank out of their bottles, how much they slept, just so they also know when the next bottle is or when the next nap is. So an overall of the night. Tip number 8 is to never be afraid to ask questions. That is so important. If you really don't understand something or you really don't know something, the one that is going to know it best is the parent. So you should be asking them. If you're not sure about a routine, if you're not sure about how the child goes down, or if you're not sure about what they're allowed to eat or not allowed to eat, the best person to ask is the parents, because they know their child best. If their child is maybe not feeling great, they know the signs and the symptoms of when that starts and what that looks like. If they're not being very interactive with you, or parents know their kids best, so if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask, and I'm sure they appreciate them as well. Tip number 9 is to know your comfort level and your limits. So if you guys don't know, my sister is a professional dog trainer. I've been around dogs my entire life, and I've never been scared of dogs. But a new client had asked me to babysit for them, and when I went to go babysit for them, I was immediately uncomfortable because of their dog. I was terrified of this dog, and I've never had that happen in my life. So should have listened to myself, should have listened to my gut. I should have taken action and asked them to put him in a room or behind a gate so I can do my job efficiently and I don't have to be worried about this dog. I babysat for them 4 or 5 times and nothing luckily had ever happened to me. I was asked to babysit on a certain night. Unfortunately, I wasn't available for them, but another sitter was, and I got a call a couple days later saying that that sitter got bit in the face by the dog and needed 26 stitches, and she went to the hospital. So I'm glad it was not me. I feel very, very sad for this girl, but I should have acted and said something about my uncomfortableness around this dog. I should have asked them to put it in another room or behind the gate, and I need to trust that gut instinct. You need to trust your gut around other things as well, such as how many kids you're handling at one time or watching at one time, the age that you're watching. If you're not comfortable with infants, let it be known that you're not going to work with infants until you get that experience. If you're uncomfortable around a dad, or if you're uncomfortable around a mom or grandparents, or if you're uncomfortable with too many people in the house while you're watching a child, or if you're uncomfortable around a dog, you need to trust your gut and make sure you act on that gut instinct because you know it best. Tip number 10 is to remain positive in every situation. You don't want to be a Debbie Downer, and kids look up to you, so that means they reflect your emotions. So if you've got it together, they've got it together. And also you can comfort them more if you have it together. So if they're acting out or having a tantrum, you can remain positive, remain calm, and go into the situation with a level head and explain things to them properly. And then that way you're not going in with anger or attitude and making the situation even worse. So remaining positive in everything that you're doing around children, and even with the parents. If you are talking about their child and maybe something didn't go so right, don't focus on the negative. Try and be like, yeah, we had a bad dinner or a bad bath routine, but bedtime was a breeze, or dinner was great, or he was a great listener. So you got to really focus on the positive as well as giving the negative too. So those are my top 10 tips for babysitters. If you guys have any questions, or if you have any tips yourself that you'd like to drop down in the comment section below, please do so. I appreciate everybody's input and the community that we are growing as babysitters, because it is awesome and I love it. Alrighty, I will see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.